wants to come up.
Adrian, I think I've seen him in the hallway.
Yeah, it's Edmund. I don't want to. I mean, like, it's the person that I thought was one of the other bots. Or
to me, books are just words. That's all they are. There's words written by people, and the Bible's no different than any other book, in my opinion. So I don't really give it a lot of weight in terms of the claims it makes about the nature of humans or the nature of my belief.
And I'm quite aware of that.
Yeah,
I'm quite aware of that. All right. I was just making the point that since it does say that, right, and I understand what it's saying explicitly, I believe that. Yeah, okay. I do believe that. Okay. So which would mean, if that is true, it would necessarily be the case that, and maybe this would be more applicable to positive atheists. You might be able to make that case that, someone who is flat out denying the existence of God, or actually even denying that there's evidence for there being the existence of a supreme being who's created all things, and they believe they have no substantial knowledge to that or reason to accept that it is actually the case that they're deceiving themselves. I have no, I'm just going to tell you up front, I do believe that, okay? You might say that's ridiculous. Okay, I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, I understand, but I can also substitute in there God with pink unicorns and ask you how you feel about it if I said that about you.
Yeah.
Take the word God out, put pink unicorns in, and that's how I feel about you. Like you have no good evidence that pink unicorns exist. You deny the existence of pink unicorns. Therefore, you believe in pink unicorns. That's really all it's doing.
And I understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying completely, man. I do. Yeah. Right. And that's why I'm saying I realize that has absolutely no merit to you. Yeah. I get that. I'm just letting you know up front. I'm not gonna try and hide that because it doesn't make any sense to you.
It just falls into the category of sort of like, I'll put this nicely, preaching to me, and I'm like, whatever, Yeah. I don't treat the Bible as any source of truth, so yeah, I think that's probably a major difference here.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you did, you'd have a completely different position. Yeah. But anyway, leaving off what we were talking about yesterday, okay? Because I was thinking about it a little bit more as you were talking about. You don't really. It seemed maybe you were leaning more. Well, actually, you did say this. You said that when it comes to like logical principles or mathematical principles or even numbers, you think that they're merely descriptive and not actually, have some sort of fixed nature or even an ontology, maybe you could say, where they exist and there's an abstract reality that coincides with ours.
Like Platonic ideals, basically.
Yeah, it could be Platonic. I mean, that's one of the ways. I don't think, when it came to Plato and them, they kind of made that kind of like a finality, and it got kind of weird, with the whole thing with shapes and all that stuff. But anyway, so here's the thing, okay? And I was thinking about it. I think that when you make, when you posit, any proposition like, the laws of logic are only descriptive, or they're just descriptive, something like that. Or when you make that claim, you already understand that if that's the case, let's say that is true, and we really haven't got to your theory of truth yet, but if that's true, the only way that could actually be true is if it's not the case that the laws of logic are, not descriptive, right? So in other words, the negation would have to be false, right? So you understand.
Okay, so the claim is the laws of logic are descriptive. The negation of it is the laws of logic are not descriptive.
Right. It's not the case that the laws of logic, or you could say it like that, right?
Okay.
It's not the case that the laws of logic are descriptive.
Okay.
Right. That would be a little bit more formal. But so you already understand that, which means that you are already inherently appealing to the law of excluded middle. You would have to be. Otherwise, that statement wouldn't make any sense, because that's one of the necessary conditions for a proposition to actually qualify. Right. It actually has to have a negation. You say that's a proposition and it doesn't have a negation, it doesn't actually have any real meaning then. That's just the way it works with propositional logic.
Okay.
So,
I'm following.
yeah. So I would say that you, at some level, actually would have to say that you know that's the case. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to make sense out of anything. That's what I would say, right? And since that you know that that's the case, or you understand that, it seems kind of like, well, you're saying that they're merely descriptive, but at the same time you realize that you have to appeal to logic for that to even be the case. Now, the question I think would be really interesting to ask you is how, and you might say it's just empirical, but how would you say they're merely descriptive when you actually have no evidence to support that they're merely descriptive? Why would you even take that position?
Because of the language we're using to describe them. It's like we're using these words, descriptive, blah, 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 in very specific ways. And the word descriptive fits the definition of how we talk about things like the laws of logic. It's not like it's a characteristic or anything like that. It's just the way we use language. Okay. Again, I think language is very fundamental. I think we talked about that a little bit. And we have to use language, right? We can't have this conversation silently. And so we're going to use words that some of which are descriptive and some of which are proscriptive. That's just the nature of language. And I think the laws of logic fit into the category of words that are descriptive. Do I have evidence for it? No, but I don't really need to either. It's kind of like, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change any of the arguments that use those laws of logic. So it's kind of in my mind like arguing about, I don't know, free will. My bottom line is I don't care. It's an irrelevant topic to me. So I kind of feel that way about this a little bit. I'm not saying that to put you down, but it's kind of like, look, the words we use describe things, and in different ways, and that's what we're doing here.
Let me just say this real quick.
Every man.
So let's say you have a big rock in front of you, whatever, and you would start, that rock actually exists, right?
Is going to do this.
And you have a concept
avenging
of the
angel
rock.
or anything
Okay, well,
else.
your concept
Jesus
is not
will
actually
kill
the
every
rock,
man, woman,
and your
child,
concept
but this
does
is
not
the
actually
Christian belief and has been so for 2,000 years.
completely encapsulate
So
everything
I'm
about
this
the
idea
rock,
that
but
New
you have
Testament
let's say a pretty accurate concept of the rock, okay? And then you use the word rock, right? You're using that, you're kind of slapping the label on your...
Forgive me for my inability to... it's just this is such a foreign concept to me, and I'm kind of glad it is.
Chris, what's the scripture that says Jesus is going to kill everyone?
That's Revelation 20.
Book of Revelation by John, a Gnostic text, not to be taken literally, of course. It's a metaphor.
It's not a Gnostic text, nor is it a metaphor. My goodness.
I only have limited time. I suppose no one wants to keep this going, Chris?
No.
Okay, we'll do some final
Yeah,
thoughts.
it's okay. I give up.
Well, go ahead and say the last thing you wanted to say if there was one. Stephen.
I'm glad that Christians are living they're doing actions in relation to their values. I don't know what to say, but I'm glad I have a better perspective of what Christians believe.
Sure. Well, I'll help you on the last thing, though. So Exodus 25:6, maybe what you're thinking, it says, you shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and the fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing steadfast love to thousands who love me and keep my commandments. And then this is reiterated in Exodus 34, Numbers 14, Deuteronomy 5. But this is showing a pattern that it's not like God is like forcing sin upon sin and judgment and punishment. It's basically saying, like, this is how I believe, my opinion, we get things like hereditary conditions like alcoholism. How if your father and his father was an alcoholic, you are predisposed to have potentially more problems with alcohol. So it's not like sins and punishment from God are visited down. It's showing the natural consequences for things like that. So if you turn away from God, it's like, if your grandfather's an atheist, your dad's an atheist, then the chances of you being an atheist, except for the grace of God, is higher. So if you're raising them against the Lord or against his commandments, or you're doing these sins repeatedly and habitually, the chances of these things being passed down to your kid through genetics, osmosis, just living around you are higher. And then, like Chris said in Ezekiel, it talks about clarifying, goes the other way for actual sin. And it says, yet you say, why should not the son suffer for the iniquity of the father? When the son has done what is just and right, and has been careful to observe all my statutes, he shall surely live. The soul who sins shall die. So if you're talking about the father who sinned, they'll die. The son shall not suffer the iniquity of the father, nor the father suffer the iniquity for the son. The righteous for the righteousness of the righteous shall be upon himself, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon himself. And again, this isn't like Christians trying to cherry pick or something. If you just read, like I would encourage everyone to do, from the beginning of the Bible to the end of the Bible, you'll see this all explained just as if you were reading a book. Chris? Yeah?
Wait, is it a book?
Yes.
Who published it?
If we're gonna technically go, well, the Bible's not a book. The Bible means books. It's actually a collection of books. No one's having that conversation. If you just start with Genesis and read it as if it were a book, just start in the beginning and read to the end, and it will make sense.
I'm being facetious, but I really don't think the book of Revelation says that Christ is going to come back and murder everyone and only save the elect as a fundamental tenet of Christianity. I got to strongly disagree with Chris's analysis of the book of Revelation.
Well,
what's the chapter and verse? May as well just read it.
So let's talk about the end of the world and the great white throne judgment.
20?
It's going to be Revelation 20. Let's see.
Great white throne. Boy, that sounds racist.
Get in line.
It must be a metaphor. It must be a metaphor.
So Stephen is going to call God racist first, and depending what happens to him, you may or may not decide to also call God racist one day. So, watch what happens to Stephen, and then decide if you want to play that card. Hopefully, Stephen and you and everyone will repent and believe the gospel, and no one will have to worry about that. Did you find it?
Yeah, it's Revelation 20, verse 9. And they came upon the broad plain of the earth and surrounded the camp of the saints and the beloved city, and fire came down from heaven and devoured them. And then the devil who deceived them was thrown in the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are also, and they will be tormented day and night forever and ever. Then I saw a great white throne, and him who sits upon it. This is Revelation, the beginning of Revelation, this is Revelation 20:11. Him who sits upon it, from whose presence earth and heaven fled away, and no place was found for them. And then I saw the dead, the great and small, standing before the throne, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged from these things which were written on the books according to their deeds. And the sea gave up the dead which was in it, and death and Hades gave up the dead which were in them, and they were judged, every one of them according to their deeds. And death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. This is the second death, the lake of fire. And if anyone's name was not found written in the book of life, he was thrown into the lake of fire. So there you go. That is Jesus literally taking everyone out and judging everyone.
So, in short, do not be those people. Repent, believe the gospel, ask Jesus for eternal life, and you will receive it.
Well, geez, what about my Aunt Nancy? She says that Jesus is just a myth. Is she going to be cast into an eternal hellfire and be destroyed eternally, atomized in a lake of fire?
Yes. Well, you can answer that for us.
Well, she does drink and swear a lot, so maybe she deserves it.
Hey, Random, what's up?
Well, she does drink and swear a lot.
Morning.
So maybe she deserves it.
Have anything to say before I run?
Yeah. Is Steven gone?
Yeah, I mean, I guess reading the Bible is what it
The
took to
Mushroom
make him.
Kingdom guy, man. The Mushroom Kingdom guy.
Well, you just started reading the Bible, he took off.
Well, that's unfortunate. I had a message for him, but I don't know if he saw it.
We can answer as if we were him. What was your question?
No, I was just saying, part of the process, part of the process that is presumed to be the correct way of interpreting the Bible is assuming univocality. And some people miss that. They don't get that.
You're going to need to break down your fancy philosophical term for the rest of the audience, my friend.
Sure, it's kind of that same process of harmonization. It's kind of the subtle undercurrent of saying that it harmonizes or harmonizing the scripture in case it has a seeming contradiction is kind of an underlying current of assuming that it is meant to be all one. Like univocality is like from one voice.
I figure you're going to say something about the inauguration.
Oh, I know pretty much nothing about it.
Oh, well, Trump is everyone's president.
That I am aware of.
Fantastic. Good stuff.
Everyone, it's just like the world, just everyone's president.
I mean, that's kind of true as well. I mean, look,
All in good time.
the great thing for world peace is that Trump is elected president. China is going to stop rattling their sabers. They're afraid of Trump. I think that they have scrapped their plans to invade Taiwan. They know that Trump will send several carrier groups to annihilate their invasion force. I'm pretty certain that,
Yeah, I was going to say, you're talking an awful lot about linguistics or words. And there was something I read about, in the Bible, it's like in the beginning was the Word created this, the Word was eternal, the Word. So to me, it seems like the Spirit of God or the intelligence or wisdom of God is embedded in the words. And if you can't accept that, or you don't like that concept, I just don't see how a non-believer is ever going to agree with a theist who believes the words. But can't you just see that they're metaphors or symbols?
They absolutely can, but they don't always do that either.
No, I know. They're very literal. Everything is literal. I just was talking to Chris and Ask a Christian, and he says that in the book of Revelation, Christ is going to come back and murder and kill all the non-believers. And it's in the book of Revelation. And I'm like, you can't see that as being a metaphor for awakening or, casting away bad thoughts, and burning them up. And I just don't understand why you have to take it so literally and not have any mystic type of association. So if you're a theist, you're even worse because you
know my favorite thing about Revelations? This is the funny story. It was written by John, and it was written on a Greek island that island of Patmos. And guess what grows on Patmos?
Cannabis or shrooms?
Shrooms. And I'm like, now Revelations make sense.
Well, Moses spoke to a burning bush, which they believe is like an acacia bush, which supposedly has DMT. But if you want to take a trip, all you need is a glass of red wine and a joint or a little bit of cannabis in a bowl. And if you read the scriptures, it'll be like a whole new revelatory experience for you, because there's like a disassociated state, which your personality, which is your hyper conditioning from beginning, is kind of let go, and you become the word. So that's my point, is if you're an atheist and you've never experimented with psychedelic chemicals and revelation or scriptural books or sacred text writings, you see there's so much intelligence in it that it's helpful for your life.
But what if I have, Adrian?
That's fine, but the point is, if you don't think
I've done my share of hallucinogenics and tripping over Aleister Crowley and tripping over, Baudelaire and
and what did you gain from the experiences? You had fun, right?
I had fun, but when you come down off of it, it doesn't remain revelatory. It remains like when you wake up from a dream. It's like I had a dream that I had sex with Scarlett Johansson.
Well, the thing is, look at the inauguration last night. It's replete. There's so many symbols. There's so many symbols that you can see that they're pulling. So from a marketing perspective, if you have the wisdom and the knowledge, you're a much more effective communicator because you have things to say.
All I need to see was Elon Musk's Nazi salute. That's enough for me.
Well, even that in itself is an occult symbolic reference to drawing down, or a hermetic reference. So if you know the symbols, you know the references, the analogs or the abstracts. And, I think your life is much fuller with it than without it, in my opinion.
I would say understanding symbolism, I think you've heard me say I was a literature major. I studied poetry. I also was married to a Jungian analyst for 20 years. So, I get that, right? I get archetypal psychology. I get, the symbolism of dreams and all that stuff. We could talk about that for hours, I'm sure. Because I'm an unlikely atheist in that regard, as I think that dreams are very powerful, but for specific reasons. But I don't equate that to power. I equate it to, I don't think let's call it powers that be in Washington are doing anything of that on an archetypal level. I just think they like power and they like the symbols of power and they're just trying to co-opt them. But I don't think there's anything like, I think someone mentioned the Illuminati. I think that's just garbage. So I don't know.
I read. Do you know who Dr. Paul Foster Case is?
No.
He's an occultist from Los Angeles from the 20s and 30s.
Is he related to was it an Edgar Case?
I don't know Edgar Case, but.
Does he spell it C-A-Y-C-E?
No, C-A-S-E.
Edgar Case was a famous occultist from the 30s, I think.
No, C-A-S-E. America was exploding with occultism. In the early 1900s.
Well, I think it still does. Like my kids went to a Waldorf school, and if you haven't experienced the occult nonsense of Rudolf Steiner, you haven't lived.
Yeah, I bought many Rudolf Steiner books because I was like, I really wanted to know what the difference is then versus now in our education and curriculum. But
it's such garbage.
So wait, you were married?
Awful reading.
I gotta agree.
My first wife was a Waldorf teacher. I went from a Waldorf teacher to a Jungian analyst, so I guess I never learned.
But what was
the Waldorf stuff? Was just such a pile of bad philosophy. It was ridiculous. Hey, I have to jump off into a retro meeting really quick for work, but I'll be back. And thanks for coming back in and chatting. I felt like we got sort of preempted by someone last time, so it was good that we got a chance to talk.
Okay, have a great day. God bless.
You too. Take care. Yep. Catch y'all later.
came back in the fall, like she didn't have the smell. But she was a girl that like you knew. I honestly was like, she needs to go to the doctor because the way she would be smelling was not.
What about it?
I ain't feel nothing about it, bro. Just to be honest.
Oh,
It's just crazy.
well, you said the title's crazy, and then you don't.
It's crazy. I don't care what people do in their own. You know, I'm Christian, so I don't care what people do in their life. But you know, they know it's against God. You know, I'm not gonna go tell somebody. You know, well, that's an abomination that God knows of. You're going to hell, but they should know.
Are you a
That's
coon?
why I said it's crazy. Bro, that title, no, I gotta agree with that. That title was, sorry, I don't mean to say that. I gotta agree with that, man. That title was fucking crazy.
But it's the truth, though.
I'm not debating.
But a coon is not a tran, and a tran is not a coon. They're not in the same boat.
That's true.
But the thing is, the people that are mad at Donald Trump presidency are coons and trans. That's why they're saying that.
Woo-hoo! A coonie tranny.
As a Virginian, those are not my coons. I'm a different type. I'm against Trump, but I'm not. That ain't got shit to do with that. I know that.
Adrian, what is a coonie tranny?
The problem is not coons and trans. The problem is anger, which is getting mad. That's a psychological state of being in a state of disequilibrium and being upset about everything because you're still upset about who you are, which is a coon or a trans.
That made no type of sense.
Can you be a combination? Can you be a coon tranny?
Technically, coons are trans, but not every trans is a coon.
You know, call Obama a coon trend. I can see the logic.
On trans. So it's a shot.
Hey, I bring Uncle. Hey, something back quick. Uncle changed some real stuff right there.
What?
Uncle in the go.
Oh, that's a good title, y'all. Who made this title? Somebody, a smart person, y'all.
Tell me what you think about the title. Tell me what you think about it.
Man, somebody know, bro. Hold up.
Applaud that, man. Applaud that.
I know, I'm for real, man. That's a part of him, guys. Give him a round of applause. Damn, man, who is it? Who is it that got this title, bro? The person at the top left.
Oh, go right here with my extra brother. I see Donald Trump up there. I see the big dog up there. I see the point black president up there. I see it. That nigga looked out for us niggas, boy. I swear that nigga stood up for us niggas, y'all. Man, y'all black men, sorry black women. Y'all in trouble. Y'all in trouble. Man.
If Kamala was doing her inauguration, she would have lectured all of you fucking coons.
Man, fuck Trump. Hold on, say it again. Hold on. Let me get me a seat. Man, that woman would have made all us niggas should have just walked to penitentiary. Walk to jail, y'all.
That's what she sent you all when she was Attorney General.
She already did it. And you remember in California when it was, what was that 16, y'all? When she held the evidence against the black ass, y'all.
Wait. Was that 16-year-old that was the grandson of the U.S. General? That guy?
I can't remember. I can't. I've been so while ago.
Hey, did Kamala start out the fires in California? I don't know.
You remember? You think, y'all?
I'm just joking.
Oh, yeah, we're going to blame it on. Yeah, that bitch did. Yeah, she did. Yeah. We put it on her. Yeah, we're going to bring that up. Look, y'all, you remember she had all the evidence against black men up in Cali for marijuana. Could have looked at that man there right to the butt. And my mama show what? 10 years of his life, man. In prison. Had no evidence. She overlooked that boy, man. Overlooked the black boys.
Her and her husband were invested in marijuana dispensaries. She's a fucking hypocrite, a liar, a fraud, a traitor.
Oh, what state you from, bro?
Oh, Baton Rouge, I'm Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yeah, boy. I'm from the What's good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You right, well, you up there about inauguration.
What you think about that black guy who ran over all them people on Bourbon Street?
You say like Virginia, right? Yeah.
That motherfucking coon killed 15 people on Bourbon Street.
To Richmond years ago. I went to that club DC Live. I used to go to that club DC Live years ago, right around there by the White House.
Near the Rose Bar?
Yeah, I don't know if it's still up there or not. Oh, okay, yeah. Last time I went, I think it was like 2003, maybe 2002. That's the first club I know had an elevator in that bitch. Say, Snoop Dogg goes in line, so the lines would be from here. The lines would be miles around the building. So they let Snoop Dogg there. I just walked with the other bros. I said, I'm with them. I was with them niggas. I was with them niggas. I was with them niggas. I was with them. Jeez, security for it. Man, what? Man, shit. And I hit the elevator. Swear, the most beautiful man. The first time I ever thought about, I didn't know about Ethiopian women. Beautiful women up there, man. I didn't know that. You know, you look on TV, you think Ethiopia like skinny,
natural and unvaccinated.
Yeah, right. But I didn't know. That's how ignorant I was, though. I didn't know. I was looking at this on TV. Man, the most beautiful. I said, God damn, bro. I'm talking about me. But I stayed right across from the Pentagon in Richmond at the Holiday Inn.
Ain't that where they took those cameras from the 9/11 when that fake ass plane?
Right from the Pentagon. At the hotel. Right from the Pentagon.
They took the cameras from that Holiday Inn when the fake ass plane, it was a goddamn Navy guided rocket, went into the motherfucking Pentagon.
Hey, Adrian, what did you say about the was he a Republican? Anyway, man, I love this title, bro. This will be a good title for Instagram. Man, I gotta screenshot this shit, but then. Hey, make sure you give Cliff that credit, man. Unbannable Negro. Cliff? What Cliff is? Yeah, Cliff. Yeah, Cliff. Top left. Unbannable Negro. Yeah, I got him right here. Look what he's got. Cliff ain't scared to talk his shit. Cliff say, all the trainers and cleaners, man, that's all. Yeah, that's why we all talk shit here, man. That's all, you know what I'm saying? It's all love, man. No, but see, people, let me tell you something. People emotional, dog. See, you can't get emotional with people saying, you can't argue politics and religion. We're not arguing. Can we go with the facts and logic of it? Who would be better for the economy, y'all? Let's be honest. We're going to see. You know what I'm saying?
That's why they chose Trump, because he can sell it. She could never have sold it.
Oh, good, my bad. Hey, but he proved himself one time with that.
I tell you, a black woman ain't good for the economy.
Ain't not, man. They not, dog. Yeah, women in general, yeah. Speaking of women, hey, Candace, how you doing, Candace? Look, Candace. Hey, Candace, emotional.
Candace. The problem is, it's not that, we don't support women or black women. It's just that, me personally, I just believe that.
I want to know how you feel about it, Candace. What about that?
Hold on.
Okay, my bad.
I believe just as a woman, I don't think you deserve 100% of the same rights that men have, because women don't run with logic. Women run with emotion. So if a man has 100% of the rights, I believe that women should only have about 63% of those rights. Because when it comes to decision-making skills, like honestly, it's been about 120 years. I think it's time to take the right back to vote from women. Women shouldn't have really the opportunity to vote, because we've seen time and time again, women don't make bad decisions to vote. So and not only that, like, who the fuck said we can't beat on women anymore? Like,
but women don't even vote because they're lazy. The men, they got more testosterone to get to that ballot box.
Hold up, who did? My bad. Who did? He said, who's wrong with beating on women? Oh, yeah, okay.
What's the problem with beating on women? Like, what do that mean?
I don't know about that shit. Oh, well, I can say
And beat on that labia and clitoris with your tongue. They gonna come.
He said it in another way, but I understand what he said. Because guess what? Women now, these days, right? Now, we ain't talking about the older grandma and mama and them back in the days. These women jumping men face think they can beat a man up. They didn't let these fucking bitches, what they did, what y'all call them fucking women who think they men, think they can beat men.
Trans. Cool. cartoons.
Man, you know who the first woman that's gonna disrespect you, bro? What color she gonna be? A black one. Bitch ass nigga. Slap the fuck out of her. She called us white daddy, 911. He hit me.
Yo, listen, kick this Umar motherfucking Abdul Rahim out the room, call me a troll. Motherfucker.
Hey, come on up, Umar, man.
Yeah, it's not your regular cup of tea, which is bullshitting about nothing, talking about Bitcoin.
I want to talk about no knowledge, y'all. Hey, man, talk about some mess, you get a room full of people. Go ahead, Majid.
What's going on? What the hell? I have a question for you. So did you buy any of that Trump coin? If so, man, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I didn't buy it. Hey, I saw it. It came through my text message. Registered with the text, the text message on it. I didn't buy it though. I wish I would have got it, but I didn't.
I bought $10,000. I sold it 7 times 7x. I made $60,000.
For real?
I'm going to buy me a new Mercedes today. No, it's the truth. I saw it on my motherfucking Robinhood account. I was like, Trump coin? Oh, fuck yeah, $10,000. There you go, Trump. Boom, Trump gave me $60,000. God bless that man.
Oh, you hold up, bro. Hold up, y'all. No, y'all. Look. To be honest, bro. Trump is the first black president. Y'all know why I say that? Go ahead. At 16, y'all, he gave $10 million a piece, right? First of all, black folks ain't to vote for him, right? He gave $10 million a piece for 4 years to every HBCU school. Do anybody remember that? Oh, yeah. I remember that. Okay. HBCU school is what, y'all? Our black colleges, correct? Okay. Okay. The first person he pardoned out of jail was who, y'all? Y'all remember that one? Oh, shit. That black lady who did the drug trafficking had life in prison. I forget. You remember the lady who had the life in prison with drug trafficking? He the first person pardoned her. Obama. You can look it up. Obama them ain't think about that lady. It was that pretty bitch Kim Kardashian and Donald Trump. The black women ain't much worry about her.
Technically, did she break the law?
But she did break the law. Correct. Yeah, she broke the law, which is fair, but
you forgot that part.
But no, she didn't. No, I didn't. No, but I'm saying she was drug trafficking. I had to say that part. She was drug trafficking. She was in prison, so we know if you're in prison, you broke the law, correct? So we ain't got to go that far with it. But the woman did like what 30 years, nonviolent crime or whatever. How many of it? I don't know. I know a lot of y'all probably got friends was in the feds that are at home right now. They're home because of Trump, man. And what I mean by that, from the feds. First Act program. That is true. That's facts. That's true, motherfucker. That's true. Go ahead, buddy.
Even though Trump is the greatest president of all time, right?
Sure.
Can you please let us know what specifically the black people outside of the First Act was?
Well, I think.
Recidivism.
Okay, the scholarship for the HBCU schools. The scholarship for your. Go ahead, buddy.
So outside of the First Act and HBCU, $20 million. What he do specifically for black people?
He gave every nigga a stimulus package. Stimulus money. Y'all niggas happy like a motherfucker.
Oh, because of COVID, man, we had to get.
But no, it don't matter. He still had to say, come on, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't talk like a black woman now. He did it though. Well, it don't matter if it was COVID or whatever. He still had to sign it for the taxpayers, right?
You're right.
I mean, come on, y'all. That talk like logical people, y'all. Everybody was looking for a stimulus. Everybody was looking for a
You want something specified, black Americans. I'll give you one.
So, in 2013, Obama comes into presidency.
Right,
You want to
correct.
know what he did to fuck up most Black Americans?
Yeah, gave all the rights to the punks in the LGBT community.
No, well, no, it wasn't
homosexuals?
rights. No, it wasn't really rights.
He gave you free Obamacare.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a specific tax code that this man just threw out of nowhere in 2013 that pretty much fucks specifically Black Americans. You know what that tax code is called?
I'm lost with that one, but I'm into it. But
so if I remember,
what was it called, bro?
It's called the TC-03 type of code, and what it specifically does, as a starting for lower income person when you are creating a business, it requires 65%.
Okay, who approved that? Obama?
Oh no, it's not. It wasn't that he approved it. It was just slammed into
they had to. Okay, it's not to the okay.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, Obama, correct?
Yeah,
Obama,
that
correct?
was
Okay.
2013 Obama.
13, okay.
Yeah,
16 Trump came. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, his name is TC-220.
I'm about to write that down.
And I'm like, what the? It was all the news in the radio. And everyone was like, how this is going to negatively affect people in lower income areas that want to start a business because now the government is demanding, hey, we require 65% of your tax bill for business. Yeah, it's like, wait, what? Who gets affected the most? Black Americans. Because at 2013, were most Black Americans. It's fuck. We were struggling real bad. 2016, what does Trump do? He doesn't reverse that. He just equalizes the economy by reducing the taxes so drastically, people can actually afford to make a business on the salary that they're getting.
I'm gonna look into that one.
Happy Trump Day, y'all.
I just want to remind everyone that Donald Trump yesterday said that from henceforth, January 20th will be known as Liberation Day. You are all liberated.
Hey, bro. Hey, y'all, what's so messed up? These illegals, they had to start rolling out at 12 o'clock, right? So, goddamn, yesterday was nigga day, right? Trump made these bitches run around out on Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday out of here. Ain't no Taco Tuesday today. Man, get y'all down back to Mexico. Y'all get the fuck out this bitch. Hey, Baroni, come on.
If you know a Venezuelan from the Tren Arugana gang, make sure you call your local FBI agent and have their asses deported. Liberation henceforth. And then you take over the rackets. Don't let these Venezuelans control our drug rackets, okay?
Man, they signed that, well, say, but for the illegals to come over here and live better than us, y'all. You know how many people, needed that help off our taxpayers' money?
So, let me ask you a question, right? So, who gonna do all the all the great work the lower level, the Mexicans were doing?
Robots.
Oh, we're gonna make
can I? That's a good one.
I think that's like coming to Clown House, because technically when you jerk it, you're projecting in your mind thinking about something, and people come here and they think they're thinking about something, but what they're really doing is just getting into a definitely feedback loop by being the fucking mouth stuck on fucking nothing.
To get ourselves into that.
And they say, you made my point. You made my point.
You
have a fucking point. You have 2 IQ, you stupid.
You just gotta learn how to put a goddamn strap on the goddamn robot or something. Come up with something. See, people gonna be left behind when the Republicans run the House, right? So, everything say, but it's how do I'm sorry.
Please don't scroll.
I'm just trying. What the other man name?
Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to be.
Shit. The Twitter man. Twitter. I'm talking about. Elon Musk. Elon Musk one. That's the Tesla. Zuckerberg. Facebook. The Facebook, the other man. Okay, the other one. What's his name? Jeff Bezos. There you go. Thank you. Who said it? Thank you. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Jeff Bezos. Man, you know what kind of power team that is, G?
Yo, if you were watching the inauguration, they were all sitting in the front row.
Man, what?
Bezos, Zuckerberg. Yeah. Big tech was in.
You got the okay, they take that money out the economy. They'll fuck the economy up. He got all of them.
Those four men are pretty much a large amount.
That's right. Straight up.
So it's not even they'll fund the economy. America will go with it.
America will go with it. But you gotta respect the power of it though, right?
No.
Why not? I'm with that, but I'm saying, okay, you a billionaire, right? You a billionaire. Well, you got the power, you got the money. So what's going to come with the money after that? It's the influence in the power, correct? So,
Wait a minute.
now you got Isaac and David right there. They ain't got much money as you, but they got money too. You ain't talking about the capitalism. But what you want to come up with? What plan y'all want to, what y'all want to do to fuck this world, they got to fuck the world up.
Well, I mean, they pretty much do. But what I was saying is, in capitalism, you don't respect someone that's richer. You want to take what they have. That's how we do it. Well, that's not capitalism, that's corporatism. They're in corporatism. Corporatism does not have respect. It is, I am coming for what we want and have. So, no, you don't respect their power. Take it.
But what I'm saying, but if y'all three come together, it's power. You could control a lot.
There are
Well, I know what I'm saying. In other words, they're gonna make it better and better. Are they the new access of you? They're new access of me?
When I've had conversations
No, you think that's evil? No, hell no, it's not evil.
You're not wrong with your sentence, but unfortunately, there was going to go one of two ways. You're going to get communism or corporatism. That's it. We're getting corporatism. With corporatism comes one thing: consume or die.
Straight up.
Consume or die.
a lot of people don't like that because they feel
But we now have what everyone liked during the presidents. This is so affordable. I can buy so many things. That's what there are no more wars.
your words. You said attack.
The corporations
I agree with Barack, who said, he's a really terrific guy. I haven't said that publicly, but he's a great guy. And we never did a debate. So what do you think? You think you would have beaten in a debate? Or why do you say that?
We're
not going to have a debate, but
Add a teaspoon of this to a glass. As a YouTuber that's trying to get monetized, how did you come up with that song? Like you have this Italian.
Yes, it does.
No, that's a mistake people make. They think it forces things apart.
Well,
it doesn't. It's basically presents you with a choice. We have everything you need and want.
or you can go to in the middle of the woods.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but you wouldn't.
I'm sorry, you guys got me all confused here. Who the Tran and who the motherfucking Coon?
I got what you said.
The phony and let's see. Kathy, you want to say something too? Please, by all means, phony and Kathy.
So I got what he said, but I'd rather be in the car. Cause see, more okay. They just say like, I know you dreamed about. I mean, if you want to have a business already, you sound like you're a smart young man. That's why you do.
Is it better to be a coon, or is it better to be a trans? Or is it better to be a trans coon or a coon trans?
I used to run and sell software on people.
Yeah, okay. So you know about the corporate world, correct? How happy you was when your business, I guess, I don't know if you sold your business or whatever. Anyway, it don't matter. How happy you was when that business rised at its peak?
I was miserable.
Oh, come on. No, I'm happy you might have was. I'm not saying no. I'm not. For real?
I was miserable. I hated everything. I was angry at everything. I reacted violently towards anything that I didn't see trouble coming. Yeah, I was not. I had money.
No.
God damn.
Right.
Oh shit, I had money. I had
right.
72 stockholders. I had 72 stockholders, and I used them as a bank because I did not want to put my money in any bank. 72 stockholders. I had 5 servers, and these servers were
straight up. But you sold it? Or what?
Basically, I did sell it.
Yeah, okay, you somebody then, boy. I had 5 servers. I had 5 servers. What you messing with?
You were large, and let me think, about 7 years, and I just kept buying clothes and guns or bullets. It was just a rueful cycle of, do I want to spend?
So what made you feel miserable? I guess. What made that come along? If you had 5 servers, bro, and I believe them too. That's why I believe them.
I wasn't myself. I was literally.
I'm saying
money and the influence and the control I had to basically draw me further into. Like I literally could see, wow, I am getting colder, more ruthless, more uncaring.
Because you felt powerful, correct? You felt powerful. I'm just saying that's what I'm saying.
You felt Trump-like. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm trying. He know what I'm trying to say. He know, but it's the same way. It's the same kind of metaphor or analogy. I mean, I'm sorry.
No. Trump is altruistic. I wasn't. Trump is like, I'm gonna make sure that the people have something for what they need to survive. My entire means of survival with people is, you don't work for me, you can die.
What's wrong with that though? What's wrong with that though, buddy? You ran yours more like Hitler. You ran it more like Hitler.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about them Jews. I care about this. I care about you ran your shit like Hitler. So what's wrong with that? How would you feel miserable? You should have been the happiest man on earth.
I should have been, but I was like, bro.
I can't say I fuck with you. I fuck with you. They say, man, look, I don't give a fuck. What's happening on that across that fence? If you don't work for me, you die. Man, that's fuck, man.
That was my entire mentality.
So that's go ahead.
But the issue with it was, I was becoming more ruthless. I was becoming colder. At a certain point, I would literally make software, knowing how dangerous it was. It wouldn't care if some group or whatever used it for terrorism. It was like, okay, I'm starting to do it. So,
I
was getting after a while.
Yo, my brothers and sisters, Starlink is about to shoot off a new rocket into outer space, man.
I was over the edge, and to say that I was about to.
Hey, watch him out. I ain't gonna fuck with the tape. Boy, you a gangster. Man.
Pocket 9 isn't started. LD's go for lunch.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go Starlink. Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
I see. Trolling just a particular person, or it's like trolling that
splinter, white nationalist Nazi organization, and it's intense.
Okay, is it a repeat or a copy of something else that came out a while back, or is it new, fresh on its own?
They say it's a true story, and I don't know if it's a remake or not.
Okay, so there was a true story that took place in the 70s that was made into a movie about school kids, a project that a teacher put together where his kids, his students, half of them were going to play prison guards and the other half were going to play inmates. Does it have something to do with that or no?
What's that? Bye-bye.
The thing is that, you know what, these guys, these federal offices, whether it's president, vice president, senator, or House of Representatives, they're very well paid people, okay? And none of them need to have outside jobs. And to do public service, it's understood that there's a sacrifice because you're gaining something beyond money. And the fact is that nobody who's in federal office should have a second business. Period. End of story. And there should, and you know what? Having a crypto coin is a business. It's a personal business. It should be allowed. He should not be able to have the Trump organization operational while he is in power. And no senator should have a business on the side for the same reason. And if they don't want to do it, then don't run for office. That's perfectly fine. There are enough people who are good, who are qualified, who don't have businesses or who are willing to close down their business to do it. That's the way it should be. This is it's a done deal. Anyway, go ahead. It was Francine. Were you going to say something? Andre, are you here? I can't see you on my board.
I'm here, but Francine.
Yeah, so Francine and then Andrea. Go ahead, Francine.
I don't see how this trading in crypto isn't a national security risk.
Totally.
And I mean, I've been in crypto for 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Longer. And the whole goal of crypto was to be able to transfer money from country to country without having to go through the banking system.
It's called crypto.
Yes, exactly.
The prototype for this was his first administration when he didn't divest anything, where they did after emoluments. And so the prototype worked through with crypto, and you now have a straight vein to corrupt influence.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was one of the major shifts that happened. That that's one of the quote unquote norms that had never really been crossed before. And he keeps on breaking on norms, and there are for him no norms and no guardrails. He's gotten rid of both. And that's what we need. The one thing we need in government are norms and guardrails. And we need to find a way to get them back if possible. And he needs to be punished. He needs to be what he did when he gave all of the January 6th insurrectionists pardons is criminal. This is changing history. And we can't let this stand the way that it stands. We can't. There's got to be some way
So how do we do
protest this. I don't know. Maybe that's why we're here, to figure this out. We'll throw some ideas at the wall and see if anything sticks. Anyway, Andrea, go ahead. If you're here, I don't see you. I just think she gone already. Yeah, she's gone already. All right, so who was next? I think Andrew, at some point you and Mike. So Andrew, why don't you go?
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning.
Hope everyone's doing okay after yesterday.
So.
Yeah. I looked at a couple articles this morning. The one that kind of stuck out to me was this one that I did post on, just the lack of, vetting for security. He just wants to give everybody that he wants security clearance regardless of the actual protocols that are in place by the National Defense. They look at people's background, they look at their, marital status, or whether or not they have some sexual improprieties, whether or not they have gambling in it, all these sorts of things that could compromise people when they have access to highly classified information. So that's a concern, of course. It kind of ties in with the other thing I mentioned yesterday about the pro cam things, or GoPro cameras. But and as far as we didn't get a 25% tariff, so we're okay there for a week. We're okay there till February 1st, apparently. But I think what really is odd about this whole thing with the tariffs against Canada is that, we already have a trade agreement, which, by imposing tariffs in the middle of an agreement is, just ridiculous. Why would we even want to have an agreement with the United States anymore if that's the way that we can expect behavior to be? So, and obviously the agreement means nothing. So, but we'll see. I guess he's got some kind of
thing coming out in April that will coalesce all his policies going forward. And I don't know how, or I don't know that there's anything in place to initiate these tariffs, but we'll see on February 1st, I suppose. But I think it's just a lot of, I mean, it's a fire hose, of stuff that came out of the guy yesterday. So it's hard to pick 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 or 20 things, when you got, 100 things to look at. I think that's by design, obviously. Keeps people distracted and off their game. So anyway, it is really cold here today, and so I'm staying inside.
Okay.
I braved it and took the recycling out. I have to go get them afterwards, but that's about it.
Okay. Look, I love hearing about it because today's high is going to be 98. So
yeah. Well, our low today will be minus 30 degrees Celsius without the wind chill. Or no, with
yeah, probably it's time to light a fire and stay inside.
But I guess they're going to get snow down in some parishes in Louisiana, which is crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, and Trump's response to that is take us out of the Paris Agreement.
Oh, yeah. And eliminate all WHO. Let's not worry about pandemics anymore.
Exactly. No, I mean, they first of all, we must remember that everything that he's doing now is in Project 2025. So this idea of it, I mean, that's what this was. He is implementing Project 2025. So we do know, we know the script. And he's doing it, and there's nobody stopping him. And I don't know what we can do to stop him. And I'm afraid that on the short term, some of the things might look like they work. In the medium and long term, I think it's a disaster. And I think that'll happen. But this is all about timing, and it's all about perception and being able to control the media to the point where he can control the negative. Because if inflation starts happening, he will either deny it or he'll blame it on the Democrats. So that's what we have to look forward to. Any of the things that he's doing that's damages, they are all ready for a response, and the responses are just pure lies. It's pure gaslighting. It doesn't matter. Yeah,
going to court already. So this morning, in regards to people that are born in the United States and don't have citizenship. So that's being challenged in court. So I think that's the
birthright citizenship.
Yeah, that's a harbinger of things to come. I think a lot of this stuff will end up in the courts. How they handle it, well, that's a whole other story too.
Yeah, no, I have no doubt that the radical right majority in the Supreme Court will give him whatever he wants. They will find a way to rationalize essentially neutralizing birthright citizenship. They will. They'll do it. They will also rationalize the limitations of doing another. I'm sure that one of the first things that will come up is that they're going to be able to say that when they said that there's no that you can't have more than 2 terms, they're going to say 2 terms it means 2 terms in a row. That's the first thing they're going to do, and then later on they'll change it to you're president for life. So that's the absolute. That's what's happening. He is now going to be president for life if he gets away with it, and that's the way he's going to govern.
I also think it's interesting that he did not mention Ukraine yesterday. So
yeah,
it's supposed to end on.
That is interesting. Oh, they're right. He was supposed to end it yesterday. Right. Exactly. What happened with that? Well, one of the things that they're doing on MSNBC and some of the other podcasters and stuff is they basically taken a picture of where unemployment is right now, where inflation is right now, the cost of gasoline right now, all of the identifiers that they use, and compare them, 6 months from now, a year from now. Because they're right. I mean, 6 months or a year from now, he's not going to get anything better. He's only going to make stuff worse. But with that said, that doesn't mean that that his people will believe that it's his fault. You know, that's the whole thing, is that we're still always under the illusion or the understanding, the proper understanding, that people will believe facts and will believe what they see with their own eyes. And we are in a day and age where that doesn't matter anymore, because they don't. They don't vote for their own self-interest, and they believe every piece of shit that's handed to them, no matter what, without questioning it. I don't know. How do we fix that? Elle, how are we going to fix that?
Oh, Ben, I don't know. That was a lot. I've actually not looked at news this morning, which was really good, and I woke up about 10 minutes ago. I don't know how we're going to fix this. This is very overwhelming. I'm having trouble really absorbing what you just said, that you actually believe he's going to be president for life. I guess that's the one thing I haven't been willing to believe is possible, because that is the most hopeless scenario I can imagine.
Well, he's going to die.
Right. That is our strategy, actually. That was always what I said.
But he's going to die. But and then there's JD. I mean, then there's the whole crew.
JD won't be able to do what Trump does. Like, I don't think JD can actually go to the Supreme Court and say, "Make me president for life." I don't think they would do it.
Yeah.
This is something that's about Trump. Is the weirdest, strangest, bizarrest thing that's ever happened, and until he's gone, we're not normal, and we may not like what's normal, but normal will be a lot better than what's here now.
Yeah, I don't know, Ben. I woke up actually to a text message from Ira, who's in Las Vegas, my friend.
Yeah.
I talk about and he has an e-commerce company, but his warehouse is in right here in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Just in like a sweat, because the person who's running his warehouse is this absolutely lovely man from Ukraine who he hired when, months ago, when there was a special program for Ukrainian, I guess, refugees, we need to call them right now. So I don't see them as part of the list right now, but that special program may be rescinded too. And he's very worried about him. He was a physicist in Ukraine, so now he's stocking this warehouse and trying to learn English and trying to take care of his kid and his wife. So it's a lot. I don't know. I saw this text. I haven't even responded to it. So I'm just looking through Ruth's list here. Thanks, Ruth, for the links to get my morning update on the executive orders. But it's pretty awful this so far. I don't know what we're going to do, Ben. We're going to keep our friends and neighbors as safe.
You rescinded the prescription drug negotiation.
Yeah, I just saw that on the list. But on the immigration or the deportation issue, I mean, all I come up with is, as I said, trying to keep our friends and neighbors as safe as we can. I mean, that's the first thing that comes to mind. I think I've mentioned this here before, but one of our synagogues had a family who they kept safe for, I think, 3 years from El Salvador. It was unbelievable. I mean, they just made down